Life is absolutely good, but I've got angst about this matchup in the round of 64 albums with the 400 albums tourney. And you know what? That is probably going to be a common occurrence. When the random sequence generator lined up the matchups for the round of 64 albums in the 400 albums tourney, this top left-hand bracket, it's like an NCAA tournament basketball bracket. This top left-hand bracket, I thought, this is kind of a soft bracket. There's a couple of albums like Alice in Chains' Dirt that could just run through this bracket, no problem. Then you start getting into the actual matchups and it gets tough. Right off the bat. I've already filmed. Oh, it's already raining on me. Hang tight. I don't really care about getting wet, but try to keep my phone dry. We'll just let this run, let it rip, let it fly. I don't really edit stuff. I don't rehearse. I don't write anything down. I just let it flow. So I've already filmed one of these matchups, but this is technically the first matchup of the round 64 albums in the 400 albums tourney. So from here on out, not doing random sequence generator anymore. Nope. Everything's going to advance. I've got brackets that I've written out. Everything's going to advance like an NCAA basketball tourney. Woo! And this matchup's been tough. Actually, this isn't the first matchup. I am doing yin and yang, tug of war, seesaw with the first matchup. The first matchup's AFI's Sing the Sorrow versus Wooden Wands Deaf Seat. I intentionally said the wrong word there. It's not deaf. It's a word that sounds like deaf. And my son and his friends are inside and they're probably going to pop out here and you're going to hear their voices in the background. But this matchup, it kind of breaks my heart a bit. Like, I'm going to be holding on tight to a lot of these albums that get eliminated. I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to feel good about it. This matchup is Pearl Jam's 10, an all-time great album, grunge masterpiece, going up against the Mountain Goats, Bleed Out. So my son, Tasteman Jr., and some of his friends, they just came inside because it started raining a little bit. It's about to get dark. I took my son to go see the Mountain Goats in concert in Louisville, Kentucky. Wasn't quite sonically what a son who's my son's age would lean into. Very cerebral, kind of outside the box kind of stuff. He's more into hip hop or popish country. But anyway, took him to see this concert, Mountain Goats on the Bleed Out tour, and this album sounds incredible live. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Out of these two albums, as phenomenal as 10 is, the best two songs on either album are gonna be Guys on Every Corner and Wage Wars Get Rich Handsome. Yeah. All right. So let's dig into the actual matchup. So you got the Mountain Goats, John Darnielle. I've been on record as saying he's a top 5 lyricist of all time. And he's on point on this album. Preposterously interesting, complex, and fascinating lyrics. And some of these songs really have some good energy, but some of these songs are just slow and kind of lean towards boring. Like, I can get into them, but when they go up against an album like Pearl Jam that's got so much energy, and whatever you think about Pearl Jam as they got older, this album came out of nowhere. I mean, I love Mother Love Bone, but this album came out of nowhere. I mean, it's part of the grunge movement, but this is a unique album. You might be able to be a great historian like Alex Plastic Disc or Babyface and be able to break down where this album came out of, but I don't really know where it came out of. And I do think Eddie Vedder, even though he's a unique character, he was a big part of where it came out of. And I love Mother Love Bone, but they lean more towards the hair metal bridge to grunge. And I'm crazy about their music, but this album is so interesting. Like, it's got a lot of really good energy, but what brings down the Mountain Goats album to me are the slower songs. They don't engage me near as much. But the slower songs on 10 just really dig in. Black and Oceans. I mean, my God, those are powerful. Now the lyrics. I mean, lyrics are PhD level. Absolute PhD level with the Mountain Goats and John Darnielle. And the lyrics are kind of more down towards middle school level with Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder be offended by that. I understand Jeremy's got some pretty good lyrics, but, you know, it is what it is. But by God, regardless of the level of writing, the deliverance of those lyrics is profound and it's moving. A lot of people don't like Pearl Jam. I don't get it. I don't know if it's you just don't like their politics. I don't understand. I don't understand how you have ears that can hear and process music and not like this album. I just don't get it, you know? And educate me. Tell me why it's bad. Detach from it what you think about their politics, what you think about Eddie Vedder, what you think about MTV, even though they shunned MTV. You know, I mean, maybe you just don't like rock. Maybe you just don't like metal. Maybe you didn't like grunge. But really articulate to me. I'm fascinated to know. I mean, do videos. Do a stitch of this and do videos. Tell me why Pearl Jam's 10 is bad. Because I don't understand. And you might be able to convince me. You might be a very persuasive speaker, but it's going to require immense persuasion because this album, Pearl Jam's 10, is a masterpiece. I'm absolutely crazy about Bleed Out by the Mountain Goats. Every fiber of me wanted to advance Bleed Out by the Mountain Goats. When this lineup came up, I was like, all right, Mountain Goats is advancing. I started digging in. It just wasn't happening. No matter how much I love Guys on Every Corner, Extraction Point, Wage Wars, Get Rich, Handsome, it just wasn't happening. John Darnielle can handle that. He's a big boy. He wears big boy pants. John Darnielle wear a button-up shirt tucked in to a grindcore concert because he's down like that. You know, I know he lives in North Carolina. I hope he and his family fared all right after the hurricane was so destructive there. And I want to send some prayers, meditations, and good karma out to the folks in Carolina that were affected by that. But anyway, I hate to say this, but it's got to happen. A lot of these, I've been knocking them out in less than a minute because on YouTube, you know, you do the shorts, it gives you a couple more views because I've got 107-ish thousand followers here on TikTok, but on YouTube I've got 150 followers. But, you know, politicians coming after TikTok. And I know why. It's due to lobbyists. It's due to funding. And Joe Rogan knows why. Advanced around 32 albums. 400 albums turning Pearl Jam.